Shirul Adonai, Shir Chada, Shirul Adonai, Golare, Shirul Adonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom, Leyom, Yeshuato, Zabru Bagoyim, Kevodo, Bechol Amim, Leotav, Ginganon Adonai, Omol Almeon, no. Saruah Tzadik Olei Shrelet Simcha Simchu Tzadikim Baronai Ve'odu Lezecher Gosho Mizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Ki Niflaot Asa Oshiano Yemino Uzro HaKosho Adonai Yeshuato Ne'enei HaGoyim Gilatzi Page 2156. Lechadodi likrat kala yalla 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 bnei Shabbat yekabela. Ay ay ay. Lechadodi likrat kala yalla 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 bnei Shabbat yekabela. Ay ay ay. Shamor zachor diborecha ish biyanu elam yucha Adonai echad u'shmo echad Shem u'tiferet. This week we observe the Yartzeiten of Charles Goldberg, father of Shelley Goldberg Peck, Bert Spinner, brother of Anne Borofsky, George Pine, father of Richard Pine, Martin Druckerman, husband of Merrill Glass Druckerman, Marcia Klebanow, mother of Jack Klebanow, William Hyman Klein, father of Rhonda Singer, Harry Barback, father of Spencer Barback, Dora Minkin Pine, mother of Richard Pine, Julius Lanoyle, brother-in-law of Ginny Heron Lanoyle, Beatrice Kelber, mother of Hildy Martin, Leon Evan, father of Frederica Siegel, and also Lois Krasner, Roger Feinstein, Oscar David, and Albert Levy, who are memorialized on our board. May their memories and the memories of all those whom we recall be blessings. Also may mention the fact that Mariut lost your cousin just recently. Would you like me to, what was his name? Taylor Grant. Zichrono livracha. May his memory and the memories of all those whom we recall be blessings. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 62. Yit Gadal, or 24. Yit Gadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala u'b'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You may be seated. Good Shabbos, everyone. Parshat Tetzaveh, which we read this week, focuses with lavish, loving detail on the clothing of the Kohanim, the special clothing of the Kohanim. There's a famous Rashi that the Kohanim were not really priests until they put on their special outfits. And I've been thinking a lot about clothing this week because of the Parsha, and I shared a version of what I'm going to share tonight at the board last night, which is something I always remembered from my grandfather, who, among many things that he did, he sold clothes like raincoats, I think, at a Macy's type place in Detroit. And it wasn't as though clothing was like a deep and profound passion of his, but he told my father often when he was a kid, and consequently my father told me, that Zaidi says you have to respect your clothes. And I remember in particular my father sharing this with me when I bought my bar mitzvah suit, and when I was my first suit, and when I was 13, I already liked clothes. I liked clothes now, and I liked clothes then, and I got like not the suit that my parents would have picked. It was like it had some patterns on it, and it was a little bit different, and I really liked it. I remember my father saying, and my grandfather was no longer alive then. He said, "Remember, Zaidi said that you have to respect your clothes." And the Torah obviously respects clothes a great deal, and I wanted to share a couple of thoughts about that. One is really about scarcity of clothes. The Gemara recommends that you have two outfits, one for the week and one for Shabbat. In other words, you wear one of them all the time, and then your second outfit you wear to Shabbat. And there's another statement in the Gemara which is in a similar vein, communicates just the scarcity of these items in the ancient world, and really for much of human history, of how much work it took to make something like what I'm wearing right now, which I click on Amazon and I buy. That Rav Chisda, when he was walking through thorns, he would lift up his skirts, like his robes, because he said his skin would heal, but his clothes would never heal. Which is really remarkable when it speaks sort of how much, for most of human history, clothes were hard to come by, and they represented a lot of work. And they certainly represent a lot of work in the Torah. And I want to share two other things about this. One is, another reason why I've been thinking about this a lot lately is that I've been thinking a lot about my grandfather lately. I'm not sure why exactly, but a couple of weeks ago when we were in Chicago, I was going through my grandparents' old papers, and I found my grandmother's passport from British Mandate Palestine, then it became an Israeli passport, and I found, the most interesting thing I found was sort of a little diary of my grandfather's, which didn't have much interesting in it. It wasn't like a written diary where he was recording his thoughts, really. But there were some drawings of him, there was a portrait of him in it, and there was a list that he made in beautiful, beautiful Hebrew, because Hebrew was the language that my grandfather was most comfortable in. And of all of the clothing that he had, and he had it said something like, Aniva shel Abba, the father's tie, and two shirts and 3 pairs of pants and 4 pairs of socks, and just in a list. And I asked my dad about it. I said, why did Zadie do this? And he said, I don't know. He wanted to keep track of those kinds of things, and you could see all of the things that he owned just in the list. Everything I think that he owned, all the clothing that he owned. And I found myself very moved by that. And the last thing I'll share about that and about our belongings and our clothing, in particular, and our belongings in general, is that there's a teaching of the Baal Shem Tov that the sparks of our soul are actually diffused throughout our possessions, which is one of the reasons why you have to treat your possessions well. And the Baal Shem Tov includes your chairs and your goats and all of these different kinds of things that you all have to treat well, because your soul is sort of dispersed throughout them. But I think this makes a lot of particular sense as it relates to our clothes, which are close to our bodies and which touch our bodies and which are part of how the world sees us. And I'll share just one last halacha, which I've always found curious and also moving, which is that there can be a situation, there's something called Tchum Shabbat, sort of your Shabbat. A Tchum is an area, a boundary, and on Shabbat you can only, in addition to not traveling in forbidden ways, you're actually only allowed to travel so far inside your Tchum Shabbat. You can't go outside your Tchum Shabbat. And without getting into all the technical details, there are times when you and I could be staying at the same house, but our Tchumim could be different. And it has to do with the way we traveled. So if the house is here and I traveled from this way, my Tchum might extend out that way. And if you were traveling from this way, your Tchum might extend out that way. So we'd be sharing the same space, but our Tchumim would actually be different. And there's a conversation in the Gemara about, well, so what happens if I lend you a sweater on Shabbat? And so I can lend you a sweater on Shabbat, but actually the sweater has to obey your Tchum. So if I lend you a sweater and you're wearing my sweater and your Tchum goes this way and my Tchum goes that way, you actually can't wear my sweater because my sweater observes my Shabbat, and your sweater observes your Shabbat, and I think it's a charming kind of example of how our interaction with the material world matters and matters in our ritual lives and matters in our spiritual lives, and you got to respect the clothes. Like my grandfather said. Yeah.
Is there a connection between that and when someone passes away, you tear your clothes?
No, I mean I think it's not separate. I mean, rending the garment is sort of a sign. It's a symbol and an actual sort of activity of distress. But the idea that you would tear your clothes, which are so precious for most of human history, definitely, I think it's not unrelated. And you're allowed, by the way, in many cases, you're allowed to stitch back up the clothes, because where are you going to get another shirt? but you're not supposed to stitch it up. You're not supposed to stitch it up perfectly, so you can still see where it had been torn. But that halacha too speaks to the fact that how many shirts did you have? My grandfather listed, we had 6 shirts. I got a lot more than 6 shirts, but it's like, so yeah. We'll continue with Baruch Hu on page 64 or 28. Please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed Baruch Adonai Umavir Yom Umei Vilayla Umavir Ben Yom Uben Layla Adonai Tzevot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Temir Chaleinu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amari Varazi Arabi Mahavat Olam V'Yisrael. V'avatecha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'einecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha v'ayam shemot Adonai Elechem 32 or 70. Umalchut habaratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira v'simcha rabba v'ameru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh norati lo tosef Malchut chara uvanecha bokeh yam livnei Moshe ze lianu v'ameru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'nemar kifran ra'et Yaakov u'galel mi'al chazak menu Baruch Adonai gal Yisrael Spread over us the Ushmor Tzeitenu Voenu Lechaim Shalom Yataviad Olam Ufros Aleinu Sugat Shalomecha Baruch Adonai Hapore Sugat Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim Ve'shameru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat Lasod et HaShabbat Nedorotam Berit Olam Hai 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 Beinim Uven Bnei Yisrael Oti Le'olam Hai Hai Tishay Shed Yamim Asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashevihi Shabbat vayinaf hashigadav v'ikadash shemei rabbah ve'amad ivra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechonu yomechonu v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagala bagala ubizman gariv imru amen yeshmei rabba mevorach leolam ulalam me'alamaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbarach v'yiram v'naseh vidara vidale vidala shmei dekudsha berichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen 35 or 76 47 or 89. Vayichulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzivam vayichal Elohim bayom hashvihi melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvihi mikol melachto asher asa vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvihi Vayikadesh oto ki bo Shabbat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Eloi Avoteinu v'Eloi Avraham Eloi Yitzchak v'Eloi Yaakov Eloi Sarah Eloi Rivka Eloi Rachel v'Eloi Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konei Shamayim be'aretz Magen Avot b'dvaro Mechayei Meitim b'ma'amaro Ha'el HaKadosh Shein Kamohu Hameniach le'amo b'yom Shabbat Kodsho Ki bam ratza laniach lahem לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעון הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג זכר למעשה וראשית אלוהינו ולאבותינו רצה במנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך סבנו בטובך ושמחנו בישועתך ודר ליבנו לעובדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך וינוחו בה ישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת יקרא ויקדש שמי רבה ועמד יברא קירותי ולניח מלכותי בחייכם וימיכם ובחייך בישראל בעגלה זמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך, וישתבח ויתברך ויתברך מנעשה, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי תקודשה בריחו. לילה מכל ברכתה ושיר הצעה, תשבחתה בנחמתה, דמיון בעלמה ואמרו. אמן תקבל צדום ודום לכל ישראל, כל המשמעיה ואמרו. אמן יש לנו נשמע וחיים עלינו וכל ישראל ואמרו. אמן עושה שלום ואמרו מה והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו. Amen. Kiddush is page 49 or 93. Want to do Kiddush?
Sure.
Welcome back. Yom Tequila Mikrai Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kimanu Bacharta Beotanu Kidasha Mikol Ha'amim V'Shabbat Godshecha Va'over Hatzonim Shaltan Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol ate gedula leoser breshit shelo asanu kegoye harazod velo samanu gmishbechot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol amonam vanavnu korim umishkachavim umadim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu sheshamayim v'yos Kagatu b'tortech Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu hieh Adonai echad u'shemo Morning's Kaddish at 52 or 101. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'b'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'b'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shmeid, Kucha, Brechu. Leila, min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Ho, say shalom b'mromav, huya, say shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Shikoach. Mark for Kiddush, welcome back. How long are you?
Just told him.
Just 12. Welcome back for now. This week, Kiddush is sponsored by Emily and Justin Pauly in celebration of their daughters Lillian and Eve's birthdays. That's great. Thank you to Pauly's. If you want to sponsor Kiddush, please contact the office. Purim Carnival is Sunday, 10:30 to noon. Then the Megillah reading is Thursday night, March 13th at 8 p.m. Where we'll have pizza, Nomutashin, and Jenny Lebenz is reading again, and there'll be a spiel, and all are welcome to join, and you can even still be in the spiel. You have to tell me you want to do it. Scholar in Residence, March 15th, during services and after Kiddush, our Dr. Arnie Eisen will be visiting PJC to give a lecture on personal theology. Arnie's the former chancellor chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary, a very prominent contemporary Jewish thinker, and he'll be giving sort of a drasha, and then he'll be in conversation with me after Kiddush. The first 10 people at services that day will receive a free copy of Arnie's book, Seeking the Hiding God. And just like in Oprah. And the PJC Players Something Rotten is coming up March 16th at 2 p.m. And Lori Weber on March 18th at noon. Lori Weber is going to be giving her senior practicum, which she's going to do here at 12 to 12:45 p.m. in the sanctuary. It's a free cantorial concert. If you like cantorial music and you like Lori, come and support her. And there'll be a variety of different liturgical pieces and musical styles, from Chazanut to contemporary pieces to Broadway show tunes. So please come and enjoy a free concert. And what's that? Tuesday, March 18th at noon. And Lori is getting ordained this year, which is exciting. Finally, Adult Ed starting Tuesday on March 18th through April 8th at 7:30 p.m. It'll be a Pesach oriented class. I don't know exactly what yet, but it'll be about Pesach, because Pesach is coming. That's it. Stay tuned about selling your stomachs and all that, but we'll get through Purim. Yigdal is on page 53 or 114. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nitzav b'nei Eidel Metziuto Echad ben Yachid keyehudo Ne'lam v'gam ein sof le'achduto Ein lo dutahu ve'eino guf Lo na'aroch elav kedushato Gadmon b'chol davar asher nivra Rishon ben Reshit le'Reshito Ino Adon Olam b'chol notzar Yoreh gedulato u'malchuto Shefa nebuato nitano el anshe segulato b'tifarto Lo kam Yisrael k'Moshe od Navi mabit et tmunato Torat menatan le'amo el al yad nevi'o ne'eman beito Lo yachlifa el ve'lo yamir dato le'olamim lezulato Sofem yodea setareinu mabit l'sof davar bekadmato Gomer lish chesed yemifalo noten rashara gerishato Yishlach es yamim meshichenu Libdok michakekei Yeshuato Meitim yichayel Lerov chasto Baruch Adei Shem Tilato Meitim yichayel Lerov chasto Baruch Adei Shem Tilato. Good to see you, Mara.
I'll be leaving on
What time?
What's that?
my flight. I don't know.
So you're here on Sunday? I can pay for you that. You can take with you and you can nickel on things for.
Shabbat shalom.
Well, it depends on how much you have room in your carry-on. You know, you need to have things to nibble on while watching like Netflix and. So Mark Levine. Really nice to meet you.
Jonah's very excited.
Yeah,
that's a nailing him. I mean, that's like
small world after all.
Hold on,
Small world after
I
all.
wasn't there yesterday.
She came with you or she's doing Florida? She's in Florida. You just
Yeah.
came to check on your dog. And doing it. And your kids, they stay there, obviously doing their thing. Does anybody go to Florida? Right, it's just, I've always thought about, I can't even imagine having another house, how hard it must be.
I'm kind of a little bit like,
And then you said to me, the rest of us are all just like.
it's kind of like, who was the, Newton, the object that rests, that stay at rest, is like when, like, oh, I don't wanna go down there, I get down there.
And then you're happy to be there.
Right, and I get here, like, you know, I don't wanna go there, you know.
Right, do you have a house there? Or an apartment, and does someone maintain it for you when you're not there? Do you have like a community caregiver, caretaker?
Like a company.
Oh, that checks on it. Right, cause I always thought about that, I'm like, what would it be like to live in a house? And that's my problem, I have my house, you have a house. And you have to empty out the things, oh my God, they're so great, like, what is it, roof has to be done, and they need it.
Nobody keep going.
No, oh, yeah, that's, I mean, I could, there's like my dad's best friend who's there, and he drives by, whatever, like. Right, like I think I was rushing out, and I honestly don't know if I left the light on, I didn't want John to know that that was like.
Oh, I left my, we were away for a week and we came home and my husband was like, you left that light on?
Only one little light, I mean, most of it's on timers, but I have to leave like the.
Have fun with my son.
In regards to
Give
something
him a
like.
big hug.
Okay,
Maybe not.
Are you?
I was telling-
Great to see you, so yeah, I'll connect with you then.
Thank you.
Dying for another walk.
Oh,
back here.
So close. It's in the,
Are you with it?
no, I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's so much fun.
Came to the art class.
Oh, yes, I'm glad I worked with Jerry. I was like, because he was obstreperous in the class. Didn't want to do the art project.
No, that does not surprise me.
Right.
Oh, so we're like, well, you could go home. He's like, I just got here.
I expected to change.
I think so. It was hilarious.
It's funny.
What's
going
I'm here for a few days.
Oh, yeah, everything all right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, everything's okay though?
So Sophie's happy.
Yeah, who's back? Sorry about it.
Who's back?
Linda.
Linda, no, really?
Surgery, PT.
Really?
Just
Is there anything to do?
hard to reschedule.
Yeah.
And she.
Can't figure it out.
Taking
Can't
her
figure it
right
out.
from.
She has to call into her surgeon this year, but,
She's a lot of pain.
I know, but still, but she.
Are you guys back from Pesach? Or you?
that was the plan. She may change the plan. I don't know.
Some people went, some people went to like, Chabad and then this.
Stopped by for a couple of days, a couple weeks ago. Latest coming.
Do 6 o'clock. Do it, just get it done.
For a week.
Get it done. And then trust me,
Work
the jobs
remotely.
will pile up.
So,
I went to the center today. I haven't
Yes.
been for
Oh, yeah,
a
that's
while.
right.
But I
Companies
find that that's fine,
and
I don't need to figure out
Right,
how.
right.
Now it's making
So she
exactly.
And your son is up there too, right?
I don't have time to spend at work. I don't want to see that.
As long as I do something.
I don't want to say that.
Seems like 100,000 people.
That's not so, that's not so.
But
I
it's,
need to.
but it's kind of like a small,
This is not where I want
That's
to
not
stay.
so. I mean, it's small compared to,
Yeah.
Seattle.
Seattle, but it's not.
to me about win now, putting our best foot forward, and it's absent of a legitimate quarterback option because you cannot convince me Kirk Cousins is going to win you football games next year. You cannot convince me